actually, despite almost dying last night or going for a swim in Sydney Harbour amongst the ferries, it was actually quite a nice night. She looked after me last night. I'll relate the tale. I wish I had have filmed it, but I was too busy hanging on for my life, for dear life. So I set out from a point, and last night it was blowing a gale in Sydney. She's still on a mooring in Sydney, and I thought it'd be okay. I've got a new electric motor, but as soon as the bow of the little tinny got out into the wind, I was in a bit of trouble, and just being blown around. The electric motor didn't have enough power to sort of push through the waves, and so I wasn't going forward, I wasn't going backwards, I was just going sideways and up and down and being blown around. At times the wind would ease off a little bit and allow me to go forward a few metres and then smack me again with another gale. So I think I spent about half an hour, maybe an hour, battling that to get out to Arriba on a trip which usually takes about 5 minutes. So I literally, when I got to her, actually one of the things I realised, after dodging boats swinging around on their moorings like they were little toys, was the stability of Arriba. Once you get off that little tinny onto a sizable yacht, it's like coming ashore. It was just such a relief to get out of that little tinny and onto Arriba, and I sort of spent half an hour lashing the tender down in gale winds, and then a bit of a rainstorm, and about 2 hours later it all calmed down, and it's beautiful out there this morning and really calm. So lesson learned. I should have waited. Obviously I didn't know it was going to calm down, but should have waited. Put myself in a pretty dangerous situation, and I'm glad that everything was okay. Last week I went down to Huskisson, which is down on the south coast of New South Wales. So when you Google a place to pull a boat out of the water and stick it up on a hardstand for a while, they're actually few and far between. It's actually quite hard to find places to do that. In and around Sydney and north, you can generally find a place that you can put it up on a slip and do some anti-fouling or do some work. But that's like really ridiculously expensive around Sydney, and if you were going to stick a boat up on for a while and do some work on it, it would just be prohibitive. So I got quite lucky, and I found a place down there and talked to Terry, the owner. Really great bloke, really knowledgeable and really helpful, and talking about transporting and stuff. So I've entered this world now of pulling boats out and putting them on trucks and things, and it's a world I know nothing about, but I'm sure there's some thieves and pirates in there somewhere, in the mix somewhere, taking their cut. But so the plan is to get a guy. He'll come down with a truck. The marina around here will come out with a boat. They'll put her on the tow her to the slip, get her up on the slip, and then I didn't know this, but they need to, in New South Wales anyway, they need to spray down the hull, basically I think cleaning and stripping and stuff down to the anti-foul, taking all the growth and barnacles and things off, and then they'll stick it on a truck and truck it down for me. There's a few things, like there's a couple of bridges and stuff on the way down that limit the height and the width and stuff that the boat that you can put on the truck, which is all quite interesting, and you need escorts and things, and so it's a bit of a process, but I think I've found the right guys to do it. I've found some older guys that are pretty helpful. they make money doing it, but they're going to do that. So the plan is to do that in about a week, I think, a week or two. I just had to come on. Hello, yeah. I just had to come on board Arriba tonight and get some measurements and things to give to those guys, and hopefully we can take her off this mooring, put her up on a hardstand and a frame in a yard, and get a really good look at the hull. And there's a really great shipwright actually in Terry's yard, which I'm excited about, and he and I are going to have a good look over, see what needs to be done, and go from there. One of the things that Terry said is not to get romantically involved, or not to get sentimental about a boat, because sometimes, oh god, here he goes, rat, shut up, because he said sometimes they're just too far gone, and he will give advice and say, look, I think she's too far gone, you're going to spend way more money than the boat is actually worth. And in fact, he told me a story. There was a guy who had an old timber boat, wanted to do it up, but he got to Terry's yard and they said, look, it's going to cost you $20,000 or $30,000 to do this boat up, and then at the end she's not going to be as amazing as you think, or worth that. So look, why don't we look around? And they found a timber yacht that had already been done, and it was seaworthy and beautiful for $15,000. They said, well, why don't you just buy that and enjoy sailing rather than doing it? So each to his own. There is joy in bringing something back to life, and I want to respect the story of Arriba as well. But he has a bit of a harder edge look at this, because he sees it all the time and sees people doing these projects and maybe not completing them or spending a lot of money. So yeah, it was good to talk to him and get a bit of cold hard reality, and we'll see what she looks like when we get her up on the stand. And I was thinking last night as I was laying in bed that she's pretty solid. Like, she feels really solid. I don't know what an unsolid boat or a dodgy boat feels like, but yeah, just inside she feels good and solid and seaworthy. So we'll see.